Well, it's a bit of a rerun tonight. I say tonight, it's 28 balmy degrees up here in the room, and I'm having to reshoot all the segments of video because on this camera it does a chapter. I had a load of the old footage from the previous videos. Normally you can delete them one at a time, and I started to do that. Obviously I wasn't looking because I deleted everything instead of just each chapter. I thought it was taking a long while. First time I've done it, but it is a pain in the posterior. So delivery wise this week, these ones, I had a couple of bags of these army green and forest green trees, 14cm and 12cm, from AliExpress. The Chinese theme, I know a few people have been buying from Eve Models on Amazon some of these little sort of yard lights. They're like 4 lamp posts in one. The difference is the Eve Model one has this, but then a singular tube. These ones came also from AliExpress from a random seller, and as you can see, they're a bit of a sort of you know, I've got plans for them. These were a pack of 10 for £10.88, so you know, just over £1 each. So basically you get 40 street lights for £1, 25, 28 pence each. They're the sort of warmish white. They're not the bright white ones. I didn't want those ones. But they did pack them in these plastic Ziploc bags and then put them in a plastic mailer bag. So during the course of their travel they end up like that. There is the tiniest bit of glue that's just a bead to break, but I'm not bothered either way, because obviously if I want them like that and I want them to stay like that, I can just tap a little bit of glue or actually sleeve or put paste on these to create a different type of column, or sleeve them in a piece of brass tubing or aluminium tubing. Or I could just cut that plastic if it shows up and split them into 4 lamp posts. They're all individually wired. You don't get a resistor with them. They run on 3 volt. But I thought that was quite a good bargain, and actually some of them I might remove the head, pull them out of the wire and use them as a wall mounted type street light. They have options. It's actually, I've done this before with those 4-bay spotlights. I deliberately bought some from China knowing they'd probably turn up broken. Opened a dispute and got the money back, and they're exactly the same ones Gauge Master charge a fortune for. Sneaky tip. I bought another set of traffic lights from a UK based inverted commas Chinese eBay seller, purporting to have the same traffic light as I purchased before, that turned up and weren't quite what was advertised. And yes, you guessed it, the eBay seller was also shifting out the same crap ones. I've boxed them away now, opened a dispute and got my money back. So I've gave up trying to buy the 3D printed version as described, because clearly none of them are actually selling the one they're advertising. So back to an English seller, Colletts Models, Lee Collett. Couple of bits I bought off of him. Cheapest place if you want a class 43 twin pack, £54.95 I think it is, so 55 quid. Everywhere else is upwards in the 60s and 70s, especially with the new price of good old Hornby. And a bag of flock just to bung on trees or whatever, just to make the order up really, because he has a basic rate of postage. And Derails emailed me because Dapol are coming out with another release of these. Now I had 3 of these originally. I had to buy the blue ones because I wanted these ones because they're the ones that used to be in the yard at my railway station in town. and these were all out of production, and what was left was, you know, eBay stupid money as per usual. And they happen to announce that they're doing the new ones, I think about £32–33. They're all on sort of Hattons, Rails of Sheffield are all doing it slightly under the RRP. But they said, we've got some old stock, and they happen to have the batch number 12. Doesn't really matter, I suppose, but I think they're numbered slightly different on the Wagons. So I had the other one, so I've got the set of 4. Now if you recall, I also picked one of these up, I think in a Hattons sale, either on their pre-owned or on the auction. There is a couple on their auction site now. I bought one this week for £21. Then they put another pair of them on the auction site, and they're already up to £27, which is what you can buy a freaking new one for. God, I just don't understand some people. And obviously there's a new batch coming out, so there's no sort of great demand for these. So I've got one that I've purchased prior, now this one, and another one I've bought from Hattons pre-owned this week. So that'll do me for the old steel wagon, although reading up they said these normally ran in a rake of 10. I suppose that was from the steelworks, because when they came from my dock there was usually 3 or 4 at the most, along with some SAA open ones. Another little thing I've been after, a lot of them had at the time I was looking with that stock, was this little scene from Woodlands Scenics, which is the wash day getaway with the dog pulling the laundry on the line. There's a little metal line, it's quite a good little thing, not cheap, £11.25. It's about the most I've paid for one of these little cameo type figure packs from the various sellers. As you know, I normally find them when they're on offer. But again, Derails, you don't pay for the postage, so you can expect a little bit of incremental increase on the items, because there's no such thing as free postage. You pay for it somewhere. So on other figures, Smart Models, eBay seller, I think some of his stuff does turn up on other sites as well, or he's selling through multiple outlets, I'm not sure. He reduced the price of these that he's got listed on eBay, and obviously when you do a multi-buy you also get a discount, so it was rude not to. I bought the 1980s figures. They come unpainted, they're resin printed like scale 3Ds, Model U, such like. You've got the engineer with the cabinet, and the postman emptying the post box, which I thought was a nice scene, because you don't normally get anything like that. Very nicely packed. They're all in these little foam packages to protect them, because obviously the resin is quite brittle. That's the post box. If we can zoom and lock in, it's not locking very well tonight with the dark light. I filmed this earlier in the daytime. But there is a little bit of resin splash on the side. I don't think that's going to really show up. Time I blow it over with some red. And the postman is of a period when they still had flat caps, which I can't remember that period, but I don't think they were wearing them in the 80s and 90s. So a little bit of filing. I've done this with the old Dapol figures. They're normally hiding in the van on the mobile phone now. But, and the engineer, the cabinet is really nicely detailed. I don't know whether I turn the light on, that'll help. That'll wash it out. There's quite nice detailing in that. As long as you pick it out, give it a little bit of wash to define the lines. Now obviously I'm not going to be modelling this in green as a fibre optic cabinet, because that wasn't about in the 80s and 90s, so it'll probably be just a GPO cabinet or a street lighting cabinet. I used to work on these for street lighting back in the 80s. And be careful, I don't know what sort of resin this is, with it being whether it's a different one and just a different colour. It's quite sharp seems like it might be a little bit more brittle, I'm not sure. Again, nicely packaged in a little box to keep everything safe. And the final one of them's detached, which is the girl in the skirt. You've got old Sid Snot there with his mohawk giving the finger, or the fingers. Someone on a mobile phone, a bit small for the 1980s, and only a house brick in them days, but my first one was one of the old Motorola Microtacs. I opened up like the Star Trek communicator. So I'm on the DCC conversion lark, if you've seen, or some of my videos have been up with the locomotive running sessions, going through my stock and what I'm keeping and what I'm getting rid of. I went back to BWL Technical Services, who's one of the main sort of sellers on eBay for the Lay's DCC stuff, and bought these little boards which are the 8-pin socket, and then you solder your wires directly to that so you can use it as a wiring centre. Saves chopping the plug off. And I bought a pack of 5 off him. I got a discount on them with a multiple purchase. And today we had this nice little item turn up. If you recall, I bought all of those American containers a week or so ago, a couple of weeks ago, and it was rude not to. It was, well, I've had it, I mean, this is, I think these are about £40 new, which when you look at them they don't look a lot, but it's got the sort of ice cube half packaging. Obviously it'll take the larger containers. I got it for £22 and it is like new. I don't know whether it will show up, but there's like nowhere. You can look at the coupling, there's no marks on it. The wheels haven't got any rail marks. And listen to this. It's all metal. No chinky chong plastic, although it's still made in China. And I wanted a few more. I missed out on an option for the kit ones, and I've managed to acquire a pack or a rake of 3. I think they were Thurn ones. They were listed as a spares or repairs. I'm not quite sure the seller is really au fait with what he's selling. I think it's probably a case of someone selling a relative's collection. And I've just bought another 2 of these from another guy for £15 each, and a pack of 3 for 45, all from the same seller. So I shall have a nice rake of these. Carrying on, someone put a quick buy it now. I think it was $7.99 or $6.99 for the pair. So yes, I quickly hit the old buy it now on those. And guess what? The brake wheels were missing off of one wagon. And guess what? I replaced them with. Yeah, my little tip the other week about the little clothing poppets is now a functional, well, a functional visual item. Slight filing to go down and fit in the hole. No glue. So that was a bit of a win. Pair of those. I have to get rid of those horrible wheels. I hate the plastic wheels with the stupid white wall. Give me the old Silver Seal wheels any day. You can't get them now, they're going for stupid money. And Wagons. Wagons were rolling last week. So another one was I would say if you want wagons, try and buy them in lots rather than ones and twos, because they work out rather expensive. Now I've reboxed this one because it didn't come boxed. I've utilised one of the Hatton's boxes, and this was the used one. As you can see, it's okay, but it's not. Yeah, it looks authentic with all those bent ones. It came wrapped against the boxes. Not the best bit of packaging, a few missing. One was broke off and managed to pull it out with a pair of nail cutters. But anyway, I got not one. But it'd be brand new in the box. I've took them out, no marks on the wheels, the detailing pack's still in there. Don't know whether they used them. One's priced up. I had to pay more than that, unfortunately. Not what they are going for though, at £20–25. I didn't pay that much. So I got 4 brand new in the box, and one that's been used with a little bit of abuse. And I think they were £73 or 78, I can't remember, because one was 73 and one was 78. The other one being those. I managed to pick up, they were individually listed at £12 by it now, and obviously there were 6, so I had to have the whole rake, and obviously that meant the postage was going to be rather expensive. And in eBay's infinite wisdom, they don't allow you to change, or there's no default for requesting a combined postage invoice. You have to manually go into your account settings to allow anyone to do it. So I did email the guy and we came to a fairer postage price. So I now have a rake of 6 Fina 102-ton tankers. Now what they've done is cut the original long gangly lemur coupling off, and they've put a little screw through and attached a dapole coupling to give them a closer coupling. So if you want a cheap way of doing it other than amputating them and sticking those NEM sockets on like I was doing, Vectis have made a adapter for these bogies now. You do have to cut them about and sink it in, so I think my version of doing it was easier. But yeah, looking at these, I'm not sure I've got these dapole couplings, although you know, you can put a little screw and do that and they give you a closer coupling. It does work quite well. And these have all got their buffer beams and buffers intact and the ladders, so that was a result for, compared to the tragedy the other week that was everything missing that could be missing. Oh. So I think that brings you up to speed at the minute.